Time now for a GB News exclusive. Parole chiefs are currently assessing whether to release the monster stepfather of baby P. They are reviewing files on Stephen Barker's progress in prison. 15 years after being sentenced over the crime which shook the nation. The neo-Nazi was jailed in 2009 for causing little Peter's death, along with the tot's mum, Tracy Connolly, and their lodger. Well, Connolly's back out on the streets of Britain after being freed in July 2022. But amid prison overcrowding, there are fears that Barker too could now walk free. The Parole Board has told this channel that the 47-year-old has officially been referred to them and is in the initial assessment stage. This means they will assess files on him, likely to include how he's progressed in prison, if at all, relationships with other inmates, and his emotional well-being. There is, of course, no guarantee that he will be released after that assessment, but it does beg the serious question, doesn't it? Should child killers, baby killers in this case, ever be freed? Let me know your thoughts. Go to gbnews.com/your say. Tweet me at GBNews. Make sure you vote in our poll. But first, going head-to-head on this, our ex-prison officer Val Wawrosz and author and broadcaster Jenny Barnett. Thank you very, very much, both of you. Val, I will start with you. You've seen behind the curtains of Britain's prisons. Should monsters like this guy ever be allowed out?
Not for a very long time, in my opinion. And especially this person, I know you titled him properly as a monster because he never showed any remorse, and as far as I'm aware, he hasn't showed very much remorse since this horrendous crime. I'd go as far as to say there's probably a debate to be had about bringing capital punishment back for people like this. I know that's quite a strong statement, but these crimes, I think since Baby P, there's been over 800 similar cases. And there needs to be a deterrent, in my opinion. And because these offences keep carrying on and these people keep getting away with it, they go in prison to serve 15 to 20 years. That poor baby would be 18 years old now. This guy is served 18 years in prison. In my opinion, he should never get released.
OK, all right, good strong start that. Jenny, what's your view? I mean, surely this guy doesn't need a second or a third chance. I mean, he was also not just convicted of the Baby P death, he was convicted of raping a 2-year-old girl as well.
Listen, this is a really difficult discussion because the knee-jerk reaction is chuck him in and throw away the key. But somewhere down the line, we have to be a society that finds out why these things are happening. It used to be, it took a whole village to bring up a child. Now we are separate, we're individual people. We don't think about why it's happening, why more and more it's happening, what's happening in the prison system, what is rehabilitation. And Desmond Tutu said to take a life, if we're talking about capital punishment, it's revenge, it's not justice. And we have to be seen, or not just to be seen, we have to be a compassionate society. And compassion has to look at rehabilitation. It should not be
OK, that's an interesting point, Jenny.
You can see it happening in Gaza.
Look, oh, grief, I don't know how we've managed to wheel Gaza and Desmond Tutu.
Well, because if you're going to take an eye for an eye, then you're not a society.
Yeah, I understand that, but you know, an eye for an eye. We're not talking about chopping the hand off someone who's done a bit of shoplifting here. You know, Val, we're talking about a guy who's raped a baby and killed another baby, right? And I do wonder, Val, whether or not those people can be rehabilitated.
I totally agree. There's something wrong in the minds. Even psychiatrists can't get to the bottom of it. So who are we to try and get to the bottom and even risk, really? I mean, I'll ask you this, Jenny. If you're that adamant that this guy should be released, have you got children yourself? Would you trust this guy?
I do. I'm not saying, I mean, you said at the beginning that he doesn't appear to have shown any remorse. And I think if somebody is in that mindset, should we not, as a society, look at what's going on, that we create people like this that do such reprehensible crimes? Where do we begin to change that society?
Go on, Val. Go on, Val.
But do we actually create these people? I think they're sort of born with that, something different to the norm, if you like. There's something radically wrong in their mindset and their thinking. to be able to torture innocent children. I mean, if somebody did that with a dog, there'd be outrage. And a dog might get a chance to bite that person back. That poor child just had to lay there and take all that suffering and beating.
I hear what you're saying, but somewhere to kill does not teach people to stop killing. And I agree with you. There's something wrong with the man's mind. There has to be something between prison and hanging them or executing them.
Could I ask you, Jenny, can I ask you, look, would it matter to you if he'd done all the same things he'd done, but now he said, oh, I'm really sorry, I cry myself to sleep every night and I realised what I did was wrong? Because a lot of people watching, listening to this might just go, tough, that doesn't mean you still did it. You're still an absolute monster. I don't care if you're sorry.
But don't you think that a human being, any human being, has a meaning? There's a meaning for their life. And
not
you
this
not
guy.
Think
No, I think that's fair enough, Jenny, to be honest. I'm sympathetic towards what you're saying, but if we were talking about someone who, like I said, had done, there's quite a few crimes where I can see, look, someone's had a difficult start in life, and someone can show genuine remorse, and you don't just want to lock someone up and throw away the key and be like, well, you're done.
I think
this is as bad as it gets, Jenny.
Yeah, well, two wrongs don't make a right. And I agree with Val. The man is unhinged. And if he shows no report, there has to be no remorse. There has to be punishment. But I don't think it should be the knee-jerk reaction. America still has capital punishment. It does not stop the violence.
Val, go on.
Sorry, I run an organisation with a good friend of mine. I was a prison officer for 30 years. I've seen lots of these people in prison. We then decided to give people a second chance and help people. So I set up a charity called Tempest Nova with Steve, my friend, giving people a second chance, getting them into jobs when they leave prison. But we have a limit on the type of offences that we work with. Murder, sex offences, terrorism and arson. We do not work with that type of offenders. I don't know any company, and we've worked with several companies, 50 to 60 big companies, and I haven't come across one yet that would take on any of those offences I've just mentioned to you.
This man has been in prison for 17 years. He's had scalding boiling water and sugar thrown over him, and they know that he's going to face all sorts of horrible treatment in there. What do you think we should do with people like that? Should they be in a different institution? Should they be in prison?
He should be in prison. He should stay there for a very long time. Look what he did to that child. Look what that child had to suffer. I think it's what they call a bit of karma coming back, if truth be told.
Yeah, look, guys, thank you. I know it's an incredibly difficult topic to talk about. It is an awful topic, and I do really appreciate both of you coming on to talk about it and to maybe hold a mirror up to both sides of that discussion. So thank you. That's Val Wawrosz there, who is ex-prison officer and also as well author and broadcaster Jenny Barnett. Look, who do you agree with on this? Should child killers ever be released from prison? Your verdict is in. 97% of you say that child killers should never be released from prison. 3% of you think that they should have the chance to go free. I find it hard to believe what those 3% of people were thinking, but I respect your views nonetheless.